Performance anxiety in golf. Yeah, it's a killer. Some people call it competitive stress. Either way, it usually has something to do with the experience of nerves. One thing we want to do is learn how to channel our nerves if we're going to shoot the scores we know we're capable of. So you got to ask yourself: is it destroying your scores? Like, is it noticeable that it's affecting the joy in your game? I want you to listen to a little story and just see if this sounds familiar at all. One day on the golf course, a few beads of sweat rolled off his brow as he lined up his 6-footer for par on the first hole. With a half-committed putt, the result equaled the quality of his stroke, weak and short. "Geez, I'm shaking inside. I'm freaking nervous," he says to me in a soft breath so as not to arouse the attention of the rest of our playing partners. And this was only men's day. Hey, everyone gets nervous sometime. It might be as simple as a men's day event or when teeing it up in the club championship. Perhaps it's on the first tee at Q School or the last hole needing birdie to get your tour card. Could be just playing with buddies in a $2 Nassau or just a casual round trying to shoot a low score. Whatever it is, we all have moments where our nerves take their toll, whether it be a slight jittery feeling or full-blown competitive stress, also known as performance anxiety. Some people try to manage their nerves through various means. Others do their best to bury them. Attempts at denying our nerves only serves to disempower us from playing to our potential. We've got to face it and find a way to integrate it, obviously. Butterflies are great as long as they're flying in formation. I don't know who said that, but I love it, and it's so true. We're going to feel some tingling in our stomach when we're excited. We want to play. I mean, at the highest level, guys are nervous. If they're flying in formation, then you can use that energy to actually increase your focus. And I've got specific techniques on how to do that I've developed over the last 15 years. So performance anxiety is actually connected to self-worth. I know this is a deep topic, but I'll keep it as light as possible. Performance anxiety links into a deep-seated perception of our self-worth. How this anxiety shows itself on the golf course may not be as severe as panic disorder, but it most definitely cripples our ability to perform at our peak. The more we measure our abilities and successes on how others will perceive us, the more nerves will influence our behavior and our results. I'm going to say that again. The more we measure our actions and abilities on how others perceive us, the more our nerves influence our performance. This means how we think about what others are thinking about us. Have you ever noticed the times when you could care less about what people thought about you? And if it was a time when you were playing sports, you probably did well. When you have no regard for what others think of you, you are free to focus on what it is you actually want to do. So whether it's making a putt, shooting a low score, enjoying the game, when you don't care what someone else is thinking about, then you're free. And I find this interesting because I worked with a client recently, and one of his fears was, one of his fundamental things that were preventing him from playing well and actually having sleepless nights before matches, was his worry of what other people were going to think about his performance. How he would feel when others saw him hit a bad shot or perform poorly to a level that's below what he believed he could do. Now think about that as you listen to that. See if anything that's familiar. I'm going to tell you something right now, and this may be a shock to you. And I'll just say it straight, and I won't sugarcoat it. No one gives a crap how you play. That's the truth. And he laughed when I said that. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't think that's funny, but no one cares. No one's looking at your game, worry about what your shot looks like, how you perform. You know what they're doing? Exactly what you're doing in your mind, worrying about what they're thinking. That's what they're doing with you. There's no difference. It's an absolute waste of mental and emotional and physical energy to have any concern of what the quality of your shot is going to influence other people's perception of you, because they literally do not care. I go out golfing with a lot of people and ask yourself this: when's the last time you cared what another guy did? Really, honestly, did you have a lower perception of that person as a human being because they hit a few bad shots in a row or didn't shoot a personal low? I'll assure you the answer is no, you didn't. And in fact, what you focused on was your own perception of what they'd be thinking about you. The truth is, they're just like you. You're not thinking about them. They're not thinking about you, I assure you. So you can let it go. But for some reason, that's not enough for some people. But that's okay. We can do more together. That's obviously not the only source of anxiety. we obviously can get ourselves psyched up from just a desire to win and what it'll mean to us, just winning and what the impact that'll have on our self-worth and our beliefs, that we choke off our natural abilities because we are so amped up that we can't sleep, or we're jittery in the first tee and we just can't seem to channel that energy because we make it matter so much. This happens to a lot of junior golfers that I work with. They tend to make every shot be life or death. And notice, do you do this? Do you make it so important that you can't freewheel? You can't free up and let your natural talent show up because you're actually manifesting pressure ahead of the shot. Well, now your nervous system has to deal with that. Your whole physiology changes. The images in your mind changes. Your self-talk changes. Your likelihood of producing the swing that you've practiced at the range for hours, weeks, days, whatever, are slim. So being free is critical. So we just don't want to become so excessively conscious-minded, meaning we're thinking about thinking. See, a true mental game, in my approach, is you're not thinking. So you say the greatest players in the world say, when I'm playing good, I have a swing thought. When I'm playing great, I have no swing thoughts. I would challenge you right now to tell me the last time you've played a golf where you didn't have a technical thing you were thinking about. So in other words, you were thinking swing, not thinking golf. Or two, you had a swing thought, or two. Tell me, when's the last time you went to the golf course and were like the real elite player? When they're really switched on, they have no technical swing thoughts, and they have no swing thought at all. They just freewheel, they're in the zone. So my definition of choking is when we are excessively conscious-minded, we are thinking too much about the outcome, and that's literally the underlying word there, outcome. We have an outcome-based perception on every shot, what it means to us, that it is impossible to make a free swing. That's what choking is, in my opinion. It's really difficult to make the natural stroke when the negative effect you believe is going to happen, which at some unconscious level it is, or you wouldn't get nervous. You feel that a bad result is going to come. And that bad result perception is influencing your physiology, which is what creates the anxiety in the nerves. So when we become trapped in our conscious mind, we choke off our innate connection with our natural abilities. It's our unconscious, our subconscious mind that allows us to simply perform, unencumbered by excessive conscious thought. We want to be free and as empty as possible. One of the best things you can do, and in fact, I'd say it's a very important thing to do first, is find a way to still your nerves, to gain some inner calm and reduce or eliminate nerves over a shot, especially putts. As we know, the more nervous we are over putts, it gets difficult just to pull the putter back. You watch any major championship and you will see some missed short putts that they could make with their eyes closed, literally, on any other day. But when we're not completely congruent and we have some unconscious fear of what the outcome would be if it's a negative one, it is difficult to make the stroke we know we're capable of. It's difficult to make that important wedge shot from 60 yards over a bunker. It's difficult to pipe a tee shot even on a 70-yard wide fairway if we're not in the right mental space. So I'm a huge believer that the game is one within. When we make the adjustments within to our internal environment, the external environment will mirror that. And that's exactly what's happening every day. It's beyond a conversation of believe it or not. A lot of people believe that if they pound enough balls and dig it out of the dirt, so to speak, I'll just keep swinging. Eventually, I'll play some good golf. Well, I would submit to you that is an extremely slow way and a surefire way to create unneeded weeks, months, and years of unneeded stress to create the result you're after. In fact, I think you'll just get blistered hands and create more stress. Certainly your technique will improve, but that won't change your ability to pull the trigger under pressure if you haven't dealt with the inner issues. So for those of you who want to maybe look a little further and learn how simple ways that you can dissolve your nerves, just click the link. Well, you won't be able to click the video, obviously, but click a link below the video, and perhaps this video will redirect you there. I encourage you to take a close look at it. It's very simple stuff. 2 simple things you can do today, and you'll notice the effects immediately. Thanks for your time, and look forward to hearing your feedback.